What's up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with an all new episode of Love and Match Huntsville Season 3 Reunion, Part 1. Let's get into it. So, Carlos King is hosting the reunion this year, and he's going around going to everyone's room to see how they're doing, and he reveals that he is the host. Martel and Marceau hate it because he knows all and sees all. He knows all their tea, all of their information. So, with the beginning of the season to now, it's been 3 years. We have 3 seasons of this. So the show was, designed around developmental homes and, all about the different businesses that's happening around Huntsville. Did you guys ever think that the show would be a success for what it was? And they said, yeah. So we're going through the montage of the seasons. We're looking at the power couple of Mel and Martell, how they came with residential homes, pretty much creating generational wealth, I would say. Then we get Kimmy and Maurice. He wants Kimmy to just quit being a nurse and just go to real estate full time, but the pandemic happened, so she is put off with resigning longer. And of course, real estate is not her major passion. Tisha and Marceau, they're in commercial real estate, and we wonder why did Tisha get her real estate license if it wasn't going to be used, but yet she moved on to get her master's. And it's all about being proud. So you consider the fact that, how did it feel from getting started to now how things have happened. It's been good. Of all the things that we said we wanted to do, we were doing them. And, giving praise to Carlos King for choosing such a small town in Huntsville for a reality show. Can you believe we got to this point? So what were things that have changed when we find out, which is you guys have been on the show? Tisha's been off Twitter because Carlos told her the first thing you are on reality TV is don't look at the comments. And she's been looking at them, but now she's completely off them because they do be hateful in the comments. A lot of comments have been towards all the cast. Everybody pretty much gets dragged, but Tisha kind of gets dragged the most from the things that has her in it. She gets dragged the most. And knowing that Mel and Martell pitched the show and to showcase, the power couples, but now finding out the power couple is not married anymore. Do you have any regrets for signing on to the show? And she said, absolutely not, because it's supposed to showcase our lives. It's taken a lot of opportunities. It's opened up a lot of opportunities that would have taken us a long time to achieve. And there are a lot of positives and negatives for this, but I'm looking at the positives. Hugo Martel, he regrets signing up on the show because of things that were brought out. He wishes that he could have kept his cheat taste in private while showcasing to the show. Not going to happen. Then, because he asked Mel 8 years ago, what does she want to do? And she said, I want to be on TV. So he felt like he put a whole lot into where she is today, all the sacrifices that he's done for her. But she said that's what a husband's supposed to do. That's what a spouse is supposed to support and support their spouse for what they want and what their dreams are. But at the end of it, it's kind of like Martel just wants praise. He just wants praise. He wants a pat on the back. He wants credit for all things that Mel has gone through, has been on the show and out the show, all her success that's been happening since she's been on the show. He wants a piece of the pie. And it's kind of like throughout the remainder of the season, he keeps on saying, where's my credit? You said this about me. I should get my credit. No, you don't, motherfucker. You don't get no credit for the shit that you've done. And the fact that you want to hold all of the ownership and hold all of the credit of how Mel got to where she at. We found out that Mel was the brains of the entire situation. Where were your brains at? Oh, you were getting them. Nope. Martel, you have no ownership, no clause, no claims to anything that Mel done because Mel did it on her own. Mel did it. You was just there in a suit. That's all you were. And the fact that, it's like, how do you feel about him saying it? At the end of the day, it is what it is, But Mel's not, featuring him, considering how he felt like he was the one that molded the Melody Hope brand. Okay. So he felt like he could take everything back. If he wished he had the power, he would take it all back. So he felt like if it wasn't for the show, Melody and him would have been married. They would have been fine. She said, no, we won't. Absolutely not. I'm done. Next. So he believes that all the comments, caused a demise in their relationship because at times Mel would talk about what comments was being said and she would talk about him. He would say, don't listen to him. But now since things have happened, I'm pretty much the most disliked person on the cast. But Marceau and Tisha said you are the second most disliked. Second. And I would say that's correct. So we find out Marceau sent a letter to production, pretty much despising the title of the show because he thought that this was supposed to be a construction show where he's supposed to be talking about the building of the homes and communities. I'm like, Marceau, this is not home improvement. This is not HGTV. Like, no. This was about to be. I don't. I don't know where you thought that this was that type of show where we pretty much, talk about, like, that's not what's going to happen. This was a show, it's a reality show about couples in Huntsville. You mean tell me all we're all going to focus on is y'all business? We're not going to go into y'all lives? That's what happens in reality TV. We dive deep into your business that we hope is a success, but we also want to find out how are you guys doing? What do you guys do in y'all daily lives? Marceau, good night. Good night. I didn't like that. I didn't like how he felt like, this wasn't the show for me. Okay, well, Marceau, get off then. Don't come next season. Oh, right. You don't because you like this stuff. You like drama, but you don't admit it. So then it's kind of like showcasing what the show represented because all people say if they see petty argument stuff, they don't see the business. And he feels it's not even true. We got all types of businesses. We got a bar, we got a restaurant, we got a singer, we got an actress, we got a nurse, we got an attorney, we got a woman with 2 master's degree. We have things that are worth talking about that are accomplishes and how the success that we build all our businesses. Yeah, you might not see the entire process, but when we start something, we finish it. So then we're getting to the timeline between Maurice and Kiowa with the side chick. And why doesn't Maurice chime in and defend Kimmy? Because Kimmy has been defending herself to the bone when it comes to this. How she was not the side chick. It's not funny to talk about in conversation. It's not to be taken in a joking manner. But Maurice doing what he does like his brother. Go on monologue, write a whole pamphlet, a whole book about how to answer a question or how to answer a simple-ass question using it the turnaround way than just saying it's not true. Maurice wants to ask, people have asked me if I'm an alien. That's an impossibility. Why would I defend something that I know is impossible? It's impossible. It's unlikely that she was my side chick. That's impossible. But then it's like what Carlos says. So it's impossible to answer a question and say it's not true. So it's just the whole point of left and right, how he kept using it's impossible, it's unlikely, then just say yes or no. Why is that so hard for you to say? All these big ass words to dance around the question when this is not a hard question to answer. He said, first of all, I could pull up my U-Haul receipt from the day that I moved down here. And then we know that Martel said that he found out from Marceau that Kimmy was a side chick. Even though it came in a joking manner, it still wasn't funny because at that time he was telling Mel, it was pretty much to cover his ass. And while it wasn't a joking manner, we still ended up having that conversation in Vegas, and I did not find it funny that you and Tisha were laughing about it. But now we know that the comment came years later. Marceau looked at that was funny. Why are we talking about this now? This is not serious. And he said, when did you ever hear me say that? But Marceau said, you were the one that told me. How is it that I know about their business when you're the one that told me? So then, we're also asking Tisha because Kimmy came over to Tisha's house and was talking about the situation. And Tisha said, when Kimmy came over, when Kyle came into my house, she said that. She said that you were a side chick. I said that's not your character. I said I don't believe that, but I don't know the timeline. So I don't know why she would say that. Tisha, you lying. Because that behind the scenes that we got, you practically said that. Now we know, I feel like Patricia kind of broke girl code in your opinion of introducing Kimmy to Maurice. I believe it was right within that 6-month waiting period that when they signed the papers, they have 6 months of say, I want to recant, I want to rescind, I don't want this no more. So you pretty much co-signed what Kyle was implying that Kimmy was a side chick. You the one that said it, Kid Tisha. So you can't, I don't believe you when you defended Kimmy by saying that that's not her character. I do not believe it, but yet I don't know the timeline. You obviously know something because at the time this was happening, you knew that Patricia, I'm going to wait till next episode because it's some things that Tisha's not being honest about. I think Tisha is lying. I think Tisha don't want to get called out that she also said that Kim was a side chick because she said it. So then, Kimmy said, funny thing is, Kyle never said that. She implied that I came in on the 6-month waiting period when they signed the papers because they had a document, signed it, and while they were going through the 6-month waiting period, Kyle thought I came in and broke up their rekindling, and that's not true. So, Kimmy is not okay with any types of conversation that's being laughed about her being a side chick because that assassinates her character. I don't want my character to be pursued that way, to be persuaded. I don't want that. And like I said, Marcel thought it was laughable because that's not true. So we find out the time that Maurice filed. He filed twice. The first time he filed, she avoided the papers. The second time, the sheriff had to give it to her himself. And was he intimate with Kyle after that? Hell no. They had an incident that pretty much broke up their marriage, and he left and never looked back. Never returned home, never returned with the idea of getting back together, and he didn't get with Kimmy until a year after his divorce was final and the 6-month waiting period. So all the women that he was going through left and right, you could have called them out, but that wasn't it. He was a divorced man, so. Oh, okay. Then, so answer me straight up. Was it something that Kyle did that made your marriage unforgivable? Yes. So where do you guys stand now? They're in a much better place with Kyle, considering how things were when they were getting to know one another. It wasn't a good place. And Kimmy had let her know before the show started that the conversation about the side chick and the timeline's going to come up. I just want to let you know so that we won't have any issues or secrets that is going to put us right back to where we were. So we get to Mel and Martell. Sorry, y'all. So we get to Martell and Mel, and they're going through a montage of all the hurdles that they went through when they were pretty much getting over the cheating, and it was brought onto the show, and how Martell didn't like it was being brought on the show, kept private, but yet he should have kept his penis in the household. And just, going through other things with hearing about the pregnancy and hearing about the birth of their new baby and her divorce. So it's been a lot that's been happening over the course of the last few years between Mel and Martell to now they're being divorced. So looking back right now, what was the one thing you can think of, or are you okay with how things happen, and how did you feel about things being presented? Well, Mel said, looking back right now, the only thing that I thought was beautiful was my daughter being born. All the other shit is BS. He said, what do you mean? Martell contradicted himself, saying that he's not a cheater. He says, I'm not a cheater. I'm not a cheater at heart. Bullshit. And he said, I'll never be considered a cheater. But then all the cheating allegations happened when they were at the reunion. They presented themselves as a united front, meaning that they were trying to move forward with their marriage, trying to start fresh, start over, and be solidified, because that's what they were doing. And I can't get mad at them and Mel for trying to make it better. But then from after that, we get the pandemic and everything completely changed. So we found out that we were aware of the timeline that Martell cheated again. So after having her daughter in December, the pandemic came, and they had their kids out before the kids were supposed to leave early on. So they've been locked in the house, having fun, playing games. But then finding out that Martell was leaving the house a lot. And during the pandemic, it's kind of like, where are you going? You're supposed to be staying home with me and the kids. We're on lockdown. Why are you leaving? He said the gym. He was going to the gym. The gyms weren't open. Like Carla said, gyms weren't open. So you mean tell me how you decided to leave your home where you were told to stay to protect your wife who just had a baby and protect your kids? You decided to leave and go to the gym? Or was something else that was open? Because you're risking your life and your kids' life for being outside that can expose you to something that we're not fully sure what it can do. A virus that we're not fully educated on. It's been told it's been killing over 600,000, nearly 1 million people have contracted it and died. And you're willingly sacrificing that, willingly going out there, no nothing, no sense of awareness, no sense of safety to go out and cheat on your wife or what? You were that bored, you were that not getting attention, you decided to leave and go find it. The pussy must have been that good for you to risk your germs, risk your health for that. So, like Carlos said, Kimmy is a nurse. She's seeing this all day, and you're risking your life like this. It's not even the fact that he could have contacted it. It's just the simple germs of the fact. You mean to tell me like we're supposed to be sitting at home in our air to protect us from what could possibly hurt us and kill us, and you decided to erase that. You leave out from your protective circles to go. Okay. Pretty much to fulfill a need that's more important than your wife and kids. Martell feeling stupid and don't like how Carlos explained it, but that's what it was. You left your wife and kids, a woman who just had your fourth child, to go fulfill a need that you had to itch, fulfill an itch you had to scratch. And it would not have satisfied you but to stay in that house and pretty much jack it off until you were satisfied. You couldn't do that, could you? And yeah. So basically, were you fulfilling your need with the woman that you were sleeping with at the time? Were you supposed to stay home with your family? He said, I wasn't sleeping with her at that time. Then how did she become pregnant? Because the birthdays between Melania and that baby are close together. So then Martell said, let's do the math. Okay, let's do it. What's your son's birthday? We're not talking about that. See, don't like that shit. This is supposed to be a reunion. I don't know why you're trying to have any secrets. We all know you have a son, Martell. We all know he exists. I don't know why you're acting as if he exists. Ariane, come get your baby daddy. He's not claiming that. He's not claiming it. He's not claiming the kid. So it's pretty much like you mean tell me you left the house for hours and hours going where? Mel said the business wasn't going nowhere. Their clients were cut off because of COVID. They had to stop business, stop construction basically. And we're always concerned about the kids' safety, but yet you wasn't thinking about that. But then come to find out that not just you leaving the house for hours at a time, you start talking differently. You pretty much told me straight up, I should just accept you cheating from now on and not talk about it and just move on and this is who I am from now on. Take it or leave it. And it's almost kind of like, where the hell did that come from? And then telling her to talk to the older women. Oh, I'm like, talk to older women. Okay, you talk to the older men. And that's what he did. They told him to sleep with a nobody who doesn't have anything to lose and make her sign a contract. For real? For real. It's oh my God, it's kind of like y'all just still make it seem as if it doesn't sound as bad as it is, but it does. Whether or not he's cheating with someone who has a lot to lose, he is still cheating. He broke his vows. He did not protect them, for better, for worse, for richer and poor. He erased all that and fulfill a need that was simply resolved by just jacking off and masturbating. But no, he decided to create a whole relationship with a woman that he cannot take back. Can't take that time back. You can't. So what was it, all about making so the whole point of him going that route was to pretty much set up that he can do it better. He could do it. He could be more deceptive better, and he can make it sound better. Because he makes it where everything's all good, right? But that's not always the case. And throughout his situation that we try to move forward on, he has not changed. He has not matured. He has not grown up. He's still the same boy, and that's why I left. I left before I had heard about a pregnancy, infidelity, or anything like that. I left before that. So then, we find out the beginning of the show. Before the show aired, this was happening. It happened 3 years ago, March 2017. A couple of months after that, she's in the kitchen. His phone starts to ring. It's a blocked number. It kept ringing and ringing. She picks it up. She hangs up. It kept ringing and ringing. She finally picks it up again. The girl wants to answer. I didn't call for you. Put Martell on the phone. She's like, who the fuck is this bitch? Hangs up. The girls keep calling and calling. She's telling she's telling Martell, come and get this phone. Your phone's ringing. He's not coming to get the phone. The fact that he couldn't come and get the phone was a first line disrespect. If you had nothing to hide, why couldn't you come and tell this bitch who the fuck is calling my phone and why are you calling me? But no, you made it so obvious that this particular person who called from a blocked number just told me who she needs to talk to, and do she not know who I am? What the hell is that? And this is when Mel had no inclination, no knowledge, no signs, no nothing that her marriage was in shambles, that she was going through infidelity, or that Martell was cheating on her. She had no reason to think that. Nothing to back that up. This was a first time for everything. So after that, we find out that when that happened, that's what led to Martell to accuse Marcel and Melly of cheating, because a fight broke out between Mel and Martell. So obviously after Mel called her mother in a frantic, crying, shaking, panicking about what happened, what she heard, she'll know what to do. So Miss Vanessa called Marceau. Marceau tried to call Martell. He didn't pick up, so called Mel. Mel was on her way to the Chick-fil-A parking lot because she wanted to get her hair straight because she don't know what to do. So that's when Marceau came in and eased the situation by calming her down and talking her off a ledge and making sure she's okay, which led to a conversation of getting drinks, but never happened. But Marceau wants to paint it as if Marceau was looking for an opportunity to come at Mel in this weak moment. If it wasn't for her being so hurt and vulnerable, you wouldn't try to ask her out for drinks. But that's not what happened. And Marceau and Tisha are pretty much surprised as to how Martell is playing this, how he's painting this picture. That is not a good picture. And especially Tisha, she's peeping in with like, what you mean? You mean tell me that Marceau called Melody out for drinks? Yes. He said that's not how it happened. What you mean? That's exactly what happened. That's how he told me. No. Because for someone who's a non-drinker, why would you go to that narrative that's what I would do? I figured we were friends. So as a friend, I'm going to make sure everything's okay. And if it was me and Tisha, we were going through a scuffle or going through a situation, I'm pretty sure she would call my brother or call my father to ease the situation. That's what it was. So then while they're going back and forth to still try to get clarified, because Tisha still wants clarity, did my husband call Melody out for drinks or not? Let me know. So Melody breaks it down. Like she said, this was right after she found out about the phone conversation. She called Vanessa. Vanessa called Marceau, because they're a tight group. You guys have been friends for 6 years. So she called him to de-escalate the situation. He called Martell, didn't answer. Called Mel. She told him where she was at. They met up at the Chick-fil-A parking lot. He told her to calm down. She said Marceau was speaking in such a positive vibe. He was speaking such a positive, energy for me. Tell me to calm down. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Then he did mention to get something to drink so I can calm down, but that never happened. Also, Marceau has never been inappropriate with me. He's never touched me. He's never kissed me. He's never done nothing of a sexual manner towards me. That never happened. So, this is like, it's still mind-boggling that you just accused your friend of wanting your ex-wife. Who does that? Again, Martell was losing his shit because he could not believe how he was caught. And now I think everything was in his brain. Everything was swirling. And I think that everything that he worked so hard for was slipping through his fingers. Everything was losing. He was losing everything. So while he was losing everything, he didn't know what to saw. He wasn't thinking nor seeing things clearly. He only saw what he wanted to see. So the fact that he found out that Marceau spoke to Melody and also invited her out for drinks, he instantly saw red and said, oh, so right now you wait until me and her got into an issue so you can come in and swoop. Like, this is what you've been wanting all along. I think Martell definitely has a narcissistic complex of he feels like if he's not number one or he's not what people are sought after, he thinks the negative about other people. And how he feels like this is the reason why you would come that way, because you know what I have and you can't have what I have. But Martell, you wasn't appreciative of what you have. You took for granted what you have. That's what you did. And you can't handle it. Because as the whole conversation is happening, he still wants to play the part about how you was seeking out a way to come at my wife. And Mel felt like, I think he's just being insecure because he got caught, which is the truth. So we find out, after that phone conversation, Mel left. And then she started seeing someone, and then Martell mentioned the oral sex that he wasn't receiving. And that's why she left him. But that's not true. That's not exactly true. Focus on the fact that one of the main things that he wasn't receiving, she was doing it to another man. But Mel said, you don't know what was going on, so how can you assume what's happening? He said, because you told me. So again, has Martell's been saying this entire season, still want to accuse Mel of how she was cheating on him in the marriage. And he has a recording of her that she admitted that she performed fellatio on another man. And he said, speak the truth, you know what I'm saying? Let's go. So Carlos asked the question, when Melanie was born or before Melanie was born, did you cheat on Martell? She said, no, I did not. So since March and since Martell wants to ask the question, Carlos let him ask the question because he wants to be the host. So Martell asked, did she perform oral sex on another man? She said, okay, let's be specific. Somebody performed it on me and I told you about it. I was like, oh, Mel. Really? I was saying, yes, Mel. I'm not mad that you did it, though. You deserve it. So again, he's completely confused about how it's flipped. So now he performed it on you. You told me you did it. So why are you lying? She said, no, I've admitted it. I admitted it. I said somebody performed it on me, and I told you about it. So oral sex was happening, but I didn't do the doing. He was doing it to me. So Martell, still wants to ask all the questions. So yeah, I said that, but then he keeps on saying, I have the recording. She said, so bring it out. So you mean tell me you don't remember you doing it? You remember what you told me? Mel said, I don't think that I did. I know I remember him doing it to me, but I don't think that I did. I don't think I did. So, timeline. Again, she moved out in December 2017. She met a man. They talked about 4 weeks, and they were sexually intimate. He performed oral sex on her, performed head. And yes, she was still legally married. But, again, it's kind of like how Martell's talking about, you lied, you said you did. I do believe that he performed it on me, but I don't believe I performed it on him, and that's the truth. So are you talking about the timeline? Like I left in December after finding out about what happened in October when the first show up aired, and we were getting over it in March. I've never planned on getting back together when I left in December. I was done with this. I was done with this before the show came. So all in all, with a nutshell, you left in December saying you were done with Martell. The incident happened with the guy 4 weeks later. Performed oral sex on you, but you don't remember if you did it with him or not. But if you feel like he had a recording of me, I didn't do it. I know I didn't do it, but it doesn't freaking matter at this point. So I honestly feel like it doesn't matter either, because while Martell wants to still place the entire blame on Mel, how she cheated on him, but when she left, she was completely done and got an apartment and was completely in her own world for the next 4 weeks. Excuse me. So while on paper, she was still legally married, and she did perform sexual acts with another man, but it still doesn't trump what you did, Martell. You've had a full-on affair while you were married. Wow. Meaning that at the beginning of this, Mel still did not know anything. Mel had no signs, no inkling, no sixth sense that her marriage was about to crumble. She did not know anything about it. So the fact that you felt like she cheated on you as a way of her automatically in a cheatation spirit, I don't know. It's still not making any sense for me, because while morally male performing a sexual act or receiving sexual acts from another man while legally married is wrong, but I'm on Mel's side to receive a hall pass for this, because at least this was a man she had never seen again. I don't know if she's still talking to this man. This is a one-time man that she's probably never going to talk to, see again, probably keep on the back burner. Either way, I don't know. But hey, it trumps one man versus then a full-on affair with the same woman that you had a connection with. I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem like this was such a bad thing for Mel to do, because what's good for the goose, good for the gander. You know what I'm saying? Martell, you probably never thought that Mel could even get pleasure again. You probably never thought a man could satisfy Mel the way you did, right? But you, okay. So even though, at that point she wasn't ready, but she was ready to fight for her marriage at the time. And is it in competition with Ariane? She said, no, I'm not in competition with nobody. I know this man came with imperfections, but since this is the type of man that makes everything look all good, but it's not. And right now, I can't even say we're friends, we're cordial, we're associates. I just look at us as the mother and father of our 4 children. That's all I see. I see no opening. I see no cracks. I see no progress into us moving any further than what we are. So weird that, they were looking for a way to get back together. That's what all the viewers wanted. But yet the one that, got pregnant while you were married, did you ever think Mel would leave you? He said no, he didn't. He never thought Mel would leave, even before, even with the cheating, even with the baby. He still felt like Mel wouldn't have left. And I don't know why he felt like that. Sometimes it takes a lot for a woman to be fed up. She could try and try and try, and people gonna say she's stupid for staying, but it's all about the history. She spent 10 years with this man. She has 4 children, so of course the history is always going to play a factor in that, and it's only going to make sense when she's ready to say I'm done. And I believe Mel was at a crossroads of ready to be done, but also seeing where it could be if I was to stay. Then he's even talking about, he would go to church, he would pray, the temptation would go away, pray the thinking. And, he know that his family was hurting, but Carlos was like, what was you trying to stop yourself from? Stop yourself from cheating, or stop yourself from going back to this particular woman? He said going back to this particular woman. And there was a personal connection that happened between them. If he even tried to clarify it again by not saying if I was to cheat again, because I'm not, I will never cheat again in my relationship. I'm not a cheater, whatever. He said, if it was just a regular person, it would have been just sex. But with this person, it was a connection. It was a personal, physical, all of that, and then some. So there was some, comments that maybe Martell had a sex addiction, but that's not true. Carlos, just pretty much in a nutshell, when Carlos learned that you were willingly and voluntarily leaving for the pandemic, leaving in the pandemic to go see her, I don't see how people can say she's a side chick. I think she's a whole restaurant, because she never closed. She was open for all hours, opening and after hours. You know what I'm saying? She had the entree, the appetizer, the dessert, the full meal. She had it all. And there was something that was drawing you back to her, but then you tried to diminish the fact that you tried to diminish what you had with her, what the relationship was to you, and you called her a peasant. And it does suck, though. A woman that you felt like you had such a deep connection with, you called her a peasant because you could not admit that you were definitely falling in love with this woman. Why else would you have had a full-on 5-year affair with her? So then it comes to the question. If you've met this woman before Melody, would you have gotten married with her? Would you have gotten married to her? And this is the cliffhanger that's going to introduce us to next week. And I just cannot wait for it to happen. But it was a very interesting first part, I will say, because I know that throughout the season we've gotten tired of Mel and Martell fighting, but we know at some point we know where it's coming from, because the divorce was so fresh that happened this course of the year. And finding out, I just feel like at this point, there's nothing else needs to be said or done. Martell needs to just admit his faults and move on. The more that he keeps on trying to paint it as if it's not what it is, nobody's going to want to trust him or listen to him, because he's not honest. He is so not trustworthy, none at all whatsoever. Let me just go ahead and oversee things before I get out of here. All right. Let me talk about the reunion looks. So Maurice and Kimmy, Kimmy looked amazing to me. I felt like the 99J hair that she had, the curls, the waves were gorgeous. The dress was a gorgeous glittery dress. I don't know if it was frilly, but it was really glittery. It formed her shape. Very Jessica Rabbit. That's what I saw. I thought it and said it, and then Carlos King said it. Um, Maurice looked handsome in his suit. Tisha, I didn't like Tisha's outfit. I didn't like her dress. This sea urchin, bright sea coral dress. It didn't look right. It was a pretty color on her, but I didn't like the style. And she had on these stripper heels, man. This high ass stiletto stripper heels. These high shit. And her hair, I didn't like the wig. I didn't like the wig. It was a super flat lace part. It didn't look like a natural lace. It looked it painted on. But then she had a part and there was a hump in the back. I didn't like that at all. Her makeup, it was very skin toned. Everything matched. You know what I'm saying? Her lips was like it was a dark nude, but it wasn't bold, but it was just like enough to paint. Her eyebrows, her eyes, they were all melting. Like they were all one skin, one color. I didn't see any colors. I didn't see any color that matches her dress. I didn't see no brightness in that. I didn't see no coral. I didn't see no orange. I didn't see no yellows. I didn't see nothing that complemented her skin with another color. Her whole face was all one color to me. It didn't look right. I had to look closely at Tisha's face. I'm like, are you wearing any blush or something? Because I can't tell. Everything was just so one tone. Everything matched her skin tone. Nothing brightened her face to me. But Marceau looked okay. I didn't think he matched Tisha's outfit though. Martell in his blueberry suit about to bust, tight ass suit. Carlos King looked handsome as well. He looked handsome, but I'm not saying Martell didn't look handsome. He just looked like his clothes was about to burst. Melly looked amazing. She looks gorgeous. We're gonna find out more about maybe next week with the reunion looks of Tiffany, Lewis, and Destiny. But yeah, that's it, you guys. That's all I have. So please stay tuned for my next video, and I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye. Wait. Yeah.